Hello and welcome to episode 333 of the Mark and Me podcast. As always, I'm your host Mark. Now joining me on today's episode is Mikey White, the singer from one of the best bands in the country right now, Fangs Out. Hopefully you know about this band already and you're listening because you've heard them or seen them live, but if you haven't, this is a great opportunity to discover your new favourite band. I truly believe that Fangs Out are just doing something that no other band are doing right now. They've just recently played with the Blackout on their reunion tour, they've been announced for 2000 Trees this year, and I believe they have a huge future ahead of them. They're lovely guys and Mikey is one of a kind. He really does just hit it off with me straight away today. It's like I've known him all my life, and it's an absolute pleasure to have him join me today on the Mark and Me podcast. But before I hit play and give you that interview, let's quickly touch base and talk about my last episode. I was joined by the actress Michelle Ryan. We got to sit down and talk all about her career to date. It's only been out a couple of days, that episode, but the numbers were huge. A massive thanks to everyone that took the time to listen and share it. It really means the world. But as I said, today it's all about the amazing band Fangs Out. So I think the best thing to do right now is to get to the interview. So here's me and Mikey talking all things music. So Mikey, thanks for joining me today on the Mark and Me podcast.
No worries at all, man. Thank you so much for having me.
What I love to do with all guests that come on the show is take it right back to the very start. So I'm talking when you were a child. What was that first album that maybe you bought or was given to you, or maybe you saved up with your pocket money? But that first tape or CD that made you fall in love with music?
Yeah, so I think for this one it was two. It was two different albums. So I remember my sister. It was really weird, like growing up, obviously, listening to my parents' sort of music. They listened to Queen and Phil Collins, that sort of stuff. And I remember really weirdly going through a phase of just hating music. My sister was playing it through the wall and I used to bang on the wall saying, turn this, turn it all. Really, I don't know why. But I remember I must have been showing interest in on MTV or whatever it was, The Box or whatever it was back then. But it was not Pretty Fly for a White Guy. Why Don't You Get a Job by The Offspring?
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Like that song. And like my sister caught wind of this and she bought me for my birthday Americana. So like that was sort of my sort of first taste of sort of punk and sort of, rock, I suppose, because, Why Don't You Get a Job is kind of scarry, but I don't know what that sort of song is, but the rest of that album is quite skate punk, isn't it?
It is. It's always weird with Offspring because my favourite album by them, Smash, so I love Self-Esteem, and I think that's just an absolute anthem, and Come Out and Play. And I remember when they brought out Pretty Fly for a White Guy, everyone's like, oh, they've sold out, they're a pop band. But it was just a lot more polished and a lot more radio friendly. But I don't hate them for it. I was like, do you know what? If that's the choice you make and it's selling more records, it means you haven't got to work in jobs at the weekend and you can go on tour full time.
Exactly.
Why not?
Yeah. So I remember really loving that. And then at the same time, I must have had a tenner on me or something. And me and my friends went out into Birmingham probably. And there was like an old, I don't know if it was our price or an old CD shop, and there was a bargain bin, and in that bargain bin for like £7 was the Slim Shady LP for Eminem.
Wow, old school.
And like I'd heard the single and stuff, My Name Is or whatever. Like I think he was getting quite close to doing his second album, but just on a whim, I bought it, like pretending I knew about hip hop and stuff to all my mates. I was like, yeah, like I know who this geezer is, and like I didn't, but then I just completely fell in love with like hip hop and rap then, like from Eminem basically. Like, he had like through Dr. Dre, Cypress Hill, that sort of thing. But then, so I had sort of two, I had one foot in the sort of punk rock world and one foot in the sort of hip hop world. And then obviously new metal came along.
And you're happy with both joining forces?
Well, exactly. I remember like one I could just hear from my sister's. Well, she's the reason like I'm sort of in a band and stuff today and my music taste, because she would be playing it through the wall. And I remember one day I could hear through the wall a man swearing about breaking stuff and Nucky. So I thought I'm gonna have to go in here and see what's going on. Do you know what I mean? What's happening? And obviously it was Limp Bizkit, and that was it. Like Fred Durst, and for much of a bit of an arsehole he was brilliant and
unbelievable. And even now, I saw them. I don't think it was that long ago, maybe 6 months ago in Birmingham. At the Academy, and honestly, it was like the first time I ever saw them at the Wolverhampton Wolfram Hall. Like 20 years later, they're still as hungry. They were unbelievable.
Just like their set list is just hits, isn't it? Like it's impossible to have a shit song in their set list, isn't it? Like, but
They've worked for it though. Like even if
oh,
people give them grief, like I love them. I think Wes is an incredible guitarist. His riffs,
oh,
everything,
dude, he's the
just
band. Like, yeah, yeah.
brilliant.
I've got no shame in saying that I love that. Like, I think Fred Durst was sort of the one of the reasons I want to be sort of a front man as well, because I don't know if you remember the MTV Music Awards. They used to, they used
Dude,
to
I'm
do
wearing
it.
an MTV t-shirt
Oh
today.
shit! I
Like,
didn't even know how sick.
how
There you
weird
go.
is that?
There you go.
It's
But
like I
they did.
knew.
It was like one of the award ceremony, and Christina Aguilera was doing like "Come On Over," her
Yeah,
single,
and then
and then
Fred
at the
come
very
out.
yeah, and it was like dun, 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 and he's sort of rapping the song on that. I can't remember what the song's called, on Chocolate Starfish, and he just blasts that through and then just drops the mic and then fucks off stage. And I was like, yo, like that was amazing. And I think that was the reason I wanted to sort of be a front man through Fred Durst. So
Yeah, he's something about him that he can just get the whole crowd in his hand the
yeah.
moment he walks on. He's just, even though, like you said, he's a bit of a dickhead back in the day, like
Hey,
he
back
was
in
a
the day, yeah.
douchebag, but for some
Yeah.
reason he could just walk on stage and be like, I'm
Amazing.
making sure that every person in this whole building tonight is going to have a good time and who's going to move.
Wow, it's just I know like that Woodstock 91 was awful, the stuff that happened there, but Jesus, did he
I
have
know.
that crowd in the palm of his hands? You know what I mean? Like
Insane. That footage
unreal.
is just
Oh,
absolutely mad. And like, when they play break stuff and there's people surfing on like
the
bits of
wood, yeah,
timber and stuff, I
yeah,
was like, even though it's terrible what happened, I was like, fuck, like
yeah.
that's a hell of a crowd.
That is a hell of a crowd, and getting everyone to jump as that was fucking amazing. But yeah, Fred Durst, man, he's got a lot to answer for. What a
So
dude.
what about live music for you then? What was one of your first gigs you went to that you remember that was just iconic or that stuck with you?
Well, I've got an uncool one. I've got a cool one. So the
Come
uncool
on, let's
one
get the
was
uncool one out the way.
all right. So my mum had bought 2 tickets to Ronan Keating at the Birmingham NEC. I think it
You
was, or the
never
NI.
admit this, dude. This
No,
is
oh,
going to
no,
go
yeah.
out for people to listen to.
Hold on. But it was for her and my sister, right?
Okay.
And I think my sister like was just nah, I don't want to go. So being a great son, I was like, "Oh, okay, I'll go with. I was like Kevin from bloody, Kevin and Perry, and I was in like a
Amazing.
Slipknot hoodie. I remember like spiky hair, and I went with her like bless her, but I took my Walkman and I was listening to like Corn. I remember I had the Corn, so I think I had like Life is Peachy or something kind of on a tape. And I was the only I think I was the only guy in that whole arena, and I was the only one sitting down. And I remember just sort of like trying to get Ronan to mime to sort of
That's
Life is
amazing.
Peachy.
Like
Yeah,
Jonathan
like
Davis
twist.
style. That's
Yeah, trying to do
amazing.
yeah, Um
But really, he's on stage singing about how love is a roller coaster, or whatever it
Well,
was.
yeah. When he started to fly, I mean, that was pretty cool. Like he flew over our heads, old Ronan did. But my cool one was that I bought for my own money, and when my parents used to let me go into Birmingham. So I went to see 100 Reasons
Amazing.
at the Academy 2, and it was just before Ideas Above Our Station came out. And I like me and my best friend Sean, like shout out to Shawnee, we always used to go together to shows, and I'll always remember that was when the style back then was sort of baggy jeans,
Yeah.
small t-shirts, and a belt buckle, like a big belt buckle,
Big skater belt. Yeah.
big skater belt, yeah. And I remember first song, it was like I don't know if it was I'll Find You or one of those ones. It was like tss, tss, and like everyone jumped, and I think 70% of the crowd's jeans fell down as well. And it was just people like for the first note frantically trying to pull their jeans up because they were like, the style was to have hanging around your ass, wasn't it?
Dude, I was at that show.
Were you at the Birmingham? Were you
Yeah,
at
because
that?
I'm in Shropshire, so I live in Shrewsbury. So I was at all the Wolverhampton and Birmingham shows.
Dude, there you go. Yeah, so I was at that would have been my first ever show, mate. It was just I was trying to work it out, and I think it was just before Ideas Above Our Station came. They'd released the singles and stuff.
Yeah, they had like a
And
couple of EPs, and I think
yes,
they released Silver after the album came out, but it might have been like you said, I'll Find You or something had come out, and
yeah,
everyone was like, "This is an anthem," and then
yeah, man.
it was just awaiting this album, and then when Ideas Above Our Station came out, it was a game changer for me.
Oh,
Like,
I think it's one of the best first album, like
yeah,
debut albums ever, mate. I love still to this day, like it's fantastic. Every
yeah,
song, man.
it sounds incredible as well. It doesn't sound
Just
20 years old like that,
no,
and Hell Is for Heroes, the Neon Handshake,
Neon
and
Handshake,
Ruben,
yeah,
Race Car Backwards, like
yeah, yeah,
just textbook albums, like
yeah, yeah.
genuinely changed my life.
They were class, man. Like the British scene then was just fucking, it's amazing. Like the wave of what was happening.
I know. Even
But
the
yeah,
indie bands that were going out, like Ash and all this, and then you
yeah,
also had Biffy Clyro and all these
yeah,
bands. Like, it was just amazing.
yeah, yeah. Like I was just caught up in all that. That was it then. And gigs, it was just when I had money, whenever I could get money, it was just going to gigs. And I think the second show I ever went to was the Road Runner Road Rage tour. And it was like 5.0, Kill Switch with Howard had just joined, and 36 Crazy Fists. And it was like again, like because it was like like sort of Hell is for Heroes, like
Yeah.
British rock, and then it was like metal, and that was a different sort of crowd. It was amazing. Like
And the
that
thing
was
is
it.
that would have been about like 15 quid.
Oh yeah, exactly.
You
Yeah,
know,
yeah. I know
after
exactly.
the
It was
gig
nothing.
outside, £5 for a t-shirt. Like,
Well, straight up to the Mackies. Remember the old Mackies
that's
across
it.
West the
Straight
Academy?
opposite.
Yeah, yeah. And
Unbelievable.
we met the 36 Crazy Fist guys in there. I remember we got them to sign our tickets back when there was actually tickets.
Actual paper we sound like
Yeah,
granddads already. People
I
are like,
know. Yeah,
what?
I
These
know. I look
paper
18.
tickets?
I look 18, but I'm not. I swear.
I love those old days. Though, like, I wish now I had kept all those old like ticket stubs. Like the first Ozfest I went to, the times I saw bands like Incubus in like
Oh,
Wolverhampton. I wish I kept all those ticket
yeah,
stubs because I just like it was like a trip down memory lane.
yeah. I think I was at that Incubus show. We were probably at a lot of the same
I was
shows,
going to
dude.
say probably a hell of a lot, but
Yeah.
yeah, there's a really good scene in the Midlands, and I suppose what I want to know is where did it start for you then wanting to be in a band? Because obviously, if you're watching these performances and these sort of shows that we've both been to,
Yeah.
was there certain bands that made you then say, "This is what I want to do. Like this is
Yeah.
the world I want to take"?
I think so. I think like for me, because I started playing guitar first, and I remember I don't give him enough credit now as I get older, and I've sort of forgot. But Blink 182 was a huge like Enema of the State. I think that was another album I bought my own money in. Like Tom DeLonge with a seafoam green Strat. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I was just like, whoa. And I remember my dad was like, I'll get you a guitar, but it's just going to gather dust in the corner, but I showed him. I never stopped playing that thing. And I sort of didn't really learn other people's songs. I just went straight into writing for some, I don't know why. I was just more interested in writing songs. And yeah, I just would demo, like I had a really rubbish old PC set up. Before that, I used to like track on an old boombox, and I had two boomboxes. One had a record button, one didn't. So I'd do a tape, record
and
on the
play over
one,
the top.
and then play over the top. Yeah, so I was like layering guitars, like prehistoric ways of doing it, And I remember one day I sort of, because I didn't know anyone, all my mates weren't musical, and I was sort of like, oh, I need a singer. So now I just started singing in inverted brackets over these demos, And then, I just started writing songs. And I remember my dad just poked his head in the door one day, and he was like, "You're not gonna get anywhere, just sort of like, and you you got to go out and find people." And then, I just sort of went on a forum before Facebook. This was, I
I
think.
love this. This is so nostalgic, and some
Yeah,
people are
dude.
like, I don't get what they're talking about. But a forum was incredible. Like you would sign
Yeah,
up to the official band forums
yeah,
or
yeah.
people that want to be in bands, and it's
Yeah,
amazing.
I was on the first funeral for a friend forum. I was on that forum, and like it was crazy. But I remember, I don't know, it was some Birmingham band forum, and I found my first sort of. This was an old band. This was my
Yeah,
first ever band. But I found the sort of guys from that band on there, and then just over sort of a forum, it was like, "Do you want to meet?" You don't know who these people. It's like I'm assuming I'm not going to get killed. But yeah, just when I met them in Birmingham, that was it. I was my musical journey had started as a sort of a singer. I say singer. I'm still learning how to do it, but like I've never really played and sung at the same time. I play guitar and sung at the same time. I've always just been a sort of front man, but I'm a geezer and I can't do two things at once.
it's too much work,
It's
too
too
much
much work.
concentration.
Exactly. So I just have to just run around and try and sing. But yeah, I think that was it. Really, that was the start of me wanting to be in a band, and I'm still doing it now.
So when did it come serious for you and Fangs Out? 'Cause you haven't been going that long, have you?
No, so it's weird. Like I was in a band for a while, and then that sort of came to an end, and I had a bit of a break from music because the other band didn't end great, and I was like, I can't deal with other people. It's difficult.
Yeah,
I moved, met my now wife, and I moved up to Warsaw, and I made friends for a friend for a mutual friend, and he was like, "Oh, I've got like," his band was sort of coming to an end. It was just some guys who wanted to jam, and in the band was Alex, my now drummer of Fangs
yeah.
Out, and some other lads, and he was like, "Oh, you play guitar and sing?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll come and jam with you." And then, just sort of started there in this band. And then everyone fell away except for me, Alex, and the mutual friend, Bo, who was the old bassist of Fangs Out. That was like end of 2018. And then
Yeah.
we were like jamming into 2019, just jamming in this rehearsal space, wrote like 5 songs. And then I think I was like, you know what, guys, if we never do this again, let's go and record them. You know what I mean? Like, because we're all sort of, we got real lives and mortgages and, and
We're
it's like,
adults now.
we're adults now,
Yeah.
unfortunately, and it's like, let's just go and record, throw some money and record whatever. And then we did the first EP and it was like, oh shit, like I'm really into, I kept saying this is just for fun, but inside my head, I was like, I really want to push this harder, And then, like, unfortunately, we released our first song just as the world closed down and went to shit in 2019, whenever that was. And then sort of we were an online band for 2 years. Did another EP in those 2 years, sort of like socially distanced, which was weird. Our second EP, managed to get one out, just get it out. And we were just like an online band. And when everything started opening up, we straight into playing shows, which was the real reason I sort of want to do it. I love writing and recording, but it's all about playing shows. So yeah, I'd say like first EP started kicking off. That was when we sort of took it seriously, and here we are now. Yeah.
So once you were let off the leash after lockdown and every band in the country and the world wanted just to gig again and go on stage, were you just really hungry for it? Were you just wanting to get these songs that you'd recorded on the EP and the second EP just out there? Did you just want to get out there and just see how they work live and start winning crowds over?
That's exactly it. It was like, you can write songs in a room, but you don't know how they're going to be perceived and what they're like live.
Yeah, of course.
A breakdown here, it's a good nodding speed, but you don't know, do you? But I remember we had the eights. Our set was the 8 songs of the 2 EPs, and the first show back was absolutely amazing. Like the electric, the atmosphere in the room. And I sort of said it on the mic. I said, I've been waiting 2 years to say this. I said we're Fangs Out. But that was it. Yeah, we were off to the races, and we played as much as we could. I think our first show was like August 2020, I think. I don't know. And then, 2021. I'm rubbish with dates, so I might be skipping. But 2021, we just played all the way through 21 and 22. And we've just been as many shows as we can. And then we were like, we might as well start trying to get another EP out. Had a couple of, a new member as well. Jay joined us, our bassist, because Bo left. Because real life, he was like, boys, I can't do this. I love you all, but he's got like a business and stuff, and he was like, I can't do it, So
I was literally about to say to you, how do you find it now? Because I've been in bands when I was growing up, and I couldn't do it now. I'd just be like, I haven't got the energy. I've got like a wife. I've got commitments. I'm like, do you just kind of find it a bit more of a struggle than back in the day?
I mean, I am, and my wife will attest to this. I'm sort of like Peter Pan anyway. Like, I don't think I've ever grown up.
No.
But like we to be honest, all the lads, we've got really supportive partners, and I don't know, I still find the energy for it. Like, we practice once a week still. We're super invested in it, and I don't know if it's like passion or I'm just being, I should just give it, I don't know. But no, it's fine. Like, we all, of course, there's times where we get offered gigs and we can't. Things happen, some of us have got kids as well, so it's like that's an extra hurdle to get over and stuff. But so far, so good, man. It's been fine. And we've sort of managed to sort of navigate real life and doing the band as well, and trying to become, my dream still. I've got a full-time job, and it's fine, but I'd love to be a full-time musician. But, does that pay the bills for the sort of music we do?
Never, unless you can sell a hell of a lot of t-shirts and a lot of vinyls. Yeah,
I think I'll just be using my holiday entitlement at work for the foreseeable. But no, it's cool, man. We just love it. We're all super passionate. We're lucky to have sort of 4 guys who still believe in we can sort of do something, and we are. It's sort of things are sort of happening for us, which are pretty.
No, it's great,
cool.
And I mean, you got to support, was it the Sean Smith's Blackout?
Yeah, we did. I've known Sean for years.
He's a legend, isn't he?
Yeah, I love him. He's done so much for me, like in another band I was in, and he's just such a he's like my I know he's like a brother, man. I love him. I've known him for like 15 years now. But so when they were coming back, he sort of asked us, and I was like, you sure? Like, like your first show back after bloody 8 years, whatever it was. And it was amazing, man, to see. So I love all the band, like to see all those guys, like after a long time. I hadn't seen someone for a long time, and it's like they'd never been away, and to get to be on that bill as well, to sort of open. We were the second band on, so the crowd was it was electric, man. It was amazing. It was.
I can't wait for February them to do some more, because they're playing Birmingham, so I can't wait.
They are, yeah. I'll be at that show definitely. I can't wait either. I'm going to try and get to as many shows on that tour as possible, really. But yeah, dude, I'm so happy about it. I went to Download and we watched them at Download. Were you there?
Yeah, Download was incredible.
Oh, mate, like that tent, like the energy.
There was like a magic energy in the air that day of like everyone knew they were there for a special reason.
Yeah, and like I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna crowd surfed at Download. And like Sean, so there's a video of me like pointing at Sean, and he saw me. I couldn't walk for 3 days after that. Like,
you have to sit down and a cup of tea.
Yeah, it was totally worth it. But but now, man, I love that band, and that they've been very kind to me over the years. And yeah, man, it was super special to support them on that
So,
show.
what's your kind of vision? Do you kind of want to get down and record an album, or are you already writing and already getting to the stages of pre-production, or how's it going with the actual vision? Because I know you've got EPs and songs
Yeah,
out, but surely you want to make your mark and have a proper debut album
yeah.
that you can show people.
Yeah, I mean that is the plan now. Like we are like I never stop writing. Like I can't. I every time I get home, I'll have my phone on voice notes and I'll just be writing riffs and lyrics and stuff. And the lads are the same as well. And so to be honest, we've got probably there's bits and bobs, but we've got more than an album's worth.
Oh,
And
that's awesome.
yeah, that is the plan. So we're gonna do. Obviously, we just released the EP, which
Yeah.
is just like the build up to it and stuff. You know, you got to just focus on that and now it's out in the world, it's flown the nest. It's like I love it, like, but I was done with that EP like 4 months ago, you know, because we lived with those songs for so long, you know.
Of course.
But yeah, we're just straight onto the new stuff. So we've got our EP launch show on Friday next week, and then once that's out the way, it's just going to be rehearsals, are just going to be writing, and we're going to work towards booking in studio time. I imagine for early 25. Next year we'll be playing as many shows as we can as well, but in between that will be.
Do you want to do festivals and get out there and do as much as you can, be seen as often as you can, use all your annual leave all summer?
Yeah, that's it, dude. Yeah. Yes, mate, we do want to do festivals and some other shows and stuff. We'll be playing as many places that will have us and we can fit between children and stuff like that. But we're going to make a lot more time for it because we love the EP. We do love the EP and we want to give it the push it sort of deserves. But back to you think, it's going to be an album next, dude. I can't, like you say, we've done 3 EPs and they're to be honest, they've all been quite well received, which is weird and really rad. But every review I read of the new EP is like, the surely next is going to be the album, you know? And it's like, fuck
you know, it's time now.
It's it is. We're ready, man. Like it was 4 songs on each of the previous EPs and 5 on this one. Like I would have got 6 if I could, but like the cost of it and stuff like that. So, so definitely an album. 2025. If we can do it earlier, then we'll see what happens.
And have you got a producer in mind or anything like that, or is it literally just spend the whole of 2024, which seems
I know
that's next year, right, and then look at the logistics of recording afterwards?
I think so. I mean, you know, we do record. We've used Owen, our producer, for the last 3, and I mean, there's no reason why we wouldn't go back to him again. But we're open to other things as well.
Yeah.
You know? It's just we're just going to get the batch of songs first, and then we'll sort of worry about how we're going to get them laid down and recorded and stuff like that. But yeah, man, excited. I'm excited. Like I was just before the call, I was sort of demoing a song before because I'm on my sort of like setup here, and I'm quite excited. So you caught me in a.
Do you feel like and I say this with full respect, do you feel like the rest of the guys are all on the same page? I know you said I think your old bassist dropped out. It was like, look, lads, like as much as this is great, like. Yeah. I can't do this. I've got other stuff. But do you think that all the other kind of share the same vision as you right now?
I think so. I think we do. Yeah, we're all 100% in. But do you know what? If life does get in the way for people, it's no big deal. There's no. If someone says like I've got to drop out or whatever, like I hope that doesn't happen.
No,
because we've got.
I don't want to curse it now.
No, it's all right. No, it's a good question, man. Like it's we've got wheels on the thing at the moment, and hopefully like they don't fall off, but. Everyone is 100% invested, but you never know. Life is crazy, as we've all discovered like a couple of years ago and stuff. So, but yeah, I'm hoping we'll stay this lineup for a long time because it's a good lineup and we're all mates before. A lot of bands probably say it, but we are all mates before we do the music. And so, yeah, fingers crossed, man, we don't lose anyone. I'll tell you after this. I
was going to say, you'll text me later and be like, oh, fucking hell, our drummer's just quit. But is it kind of now trying to, I know you said you want to get as many shows as you can, but is there kind of, I ask this to a lot of people, but is your vision to get as many support slots as you can, stuff like the blackout, when you can then use that 20, 25 minute, set time to kind of just show people what it is and hope that somebody walks away then saying, what was that band? Fangs Out. Like, I'm going to get their EP, I think they're awesome.
Yeah, it's stuff I can't really talk, but there is a couple of opportunities next year where we should be able to do that, hopefully.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just supports. And I mean, there will be some headline shows as well. Because to be honest, like we're just trying to get, we haven't branched out as far as Brum as much as we want to. But we're desperate to get to London. We're desperate to get up north, like Manchester, Liverpool, these sort of places. You know what I mean? So yeah, it will be supports. Whoever will offer us supports, and I mean, we're trying to build a team around us at the moment. So
Yeah.
I mean, if there's any booking agents listening to
Yeah,
this,
if you're listening right now, give him a
yeah,
DM.
yeah, drop us a message. But that is the plan. Yeah, just supports and just try and get the name out there as much as we can.
Amazing. You've told me before we started recording today that you do listen to Mark and me, so you are aware of what the final question is. But I'm
Yeah.
really intrigued. You know the score, dude. There's one piece of music that can be chosen by you as an outro song. Is there a song that means so much to you that you think would be perfect today after this is all edited and ready for the world to listen to?
Yeah, I'd like to choose Hurricane by Thrice,
Oh,
please.
wow. You know
Um,
me well.
no, well,
How to win
um,
me over.
dude, that song from the moment I heard it, I I think it's one of the best songs. This is a big bold claim, but I think it's one of the best songs ever written. I think it's
It
a
is.
perfect song, and like I remember as well, like obviously they released it on the album and they played Download and they opened with that tune, and
I was there about 5 years ago, I
yeah,
think.
I think it was
Yeah, and there
pre
wasn't a massive crowd, and I was like,
no,
why is everyone not here for this? This
I
is
know.
Christ.
Yeah, but I think I was just pissed enough to sort of like, and they started, and it was, do you know, you get those moments when like the hair like stood up
Yeah.
and like I had goosebumps, and like it was like biblical for me, and like I'll never forget. I can see it all in my head, and it was because of that song, and like obviously the rest of the set was amazing, but I was like, fuck in hell, like I don't know what happened then, but I had a moment, you know.
Dustin's vocals
Oh
have progressed and evolved since, 20 years ago. And I don't think, and you've probably heard me say this on many podcasts, but I don't think there's much better in the world of music than him.
no,
His voice is an instrument on its own. His sort of growl where you can hear his throat as he
yeah,
sings is beautiful, but then he can play something really chill like Open Water, and it's like
oh
the
man,
most beautiful singing voice ever. But then he can go and do something like
fire
Dust
breather.
of Nations or something, and it's like,
Yeah, just yeah.
it's there's so many bands I love, but Thrice are always going to be like one of the top three
Oh,
ever.
same,
You
same,
know,
same, exactly the same.
um,
We could have a whole other podcast just talking about
yeah.
Thrice. We could go through every
Beggars
album.
is a genius piece of
You
work,
know what, dude?
and
Like I think Visu is my favorite.
yeah,
I think like I just there's something about that album, but Palms. I don't think Palms gets as
it
much
gets a
love
lot of
as
stick.
it does,
Yeah,
dude. The songs on the album,
I
like
know.
it ends with
Beyond the Pines, do you
beyond
know what I mean?
like I saw them sporting refuse they did the Refuse co-headliner, was it?
I was
Did you
there
go to
as well
that?
at
Yeah,
Birmingham. Yeah,
and he did Beyond the I was like, I had another moment then when Beyond the
I
Pines. I was
interviewed
like,
Dustin that day. I was up
oh,
in his
did you?
dressing room. So yeah, there's them
Class.
and Refused, and I was like, wow, like Refused were on fire.
They
I was
were
like, wow.
they were fucking awesome that night. That's the first time I'd ever seen it because I didn't, I got into Refused obviously when everyone else did when they were
Yeah,
already broken up. So it was a long time coming for me to see Refused, but I think Thrice held their own on that. Like it's just Thrice, ain't it, man? Like they were just
yeah, and now they're back again in
yeah,
I think it's February. So we'll get to hear the Artist in the Ambulance in full, and
yep,
hopefully a few more songs at the end. Like Black Honey is one of my favorite songs ever written in
yep,
music. So I'm
yep.
buzzing. I really can't wait, and I just
Which one are you
think.
going to?
Do you know what? We've mentioned Blackout today. I think they kind of on the same day.
Clashing
So
in there,
it has
yeah.
to be that I have to go to Birmingham to see Sean and the Blackout, and then it's Manchester
Oh, I mean, you're
for
going to Manchester,
Thrice
right?
because they're not
Yeah,
doing
yeah, cool.
Birmingham. I don't think so.
No,
But I can't
cool.
miss that. It's like that album in its entirety. I'll just be like a 20-year-old again. Just
Yeah,
I'll
I
lose my
know.
shit.
When the Blackout announced the tour, I was like, oh shit, you sort of clashing boys. I'm gonna have to like not
Yeah.
see you for one of the shows. I'm gonna have to go
No,
see
it's gonna
Thrice,
be.
man.
I think it's a Friday and then a Saturday. So on the
Yeah,
Sunday, I need a couple of days to recover.
yeah, you will. Nice. No, that's awesome, dude. That'd be class.
Yeah, but like I said, I can talk to Thrice about Thrice to you
Yeah.
all day long, my friend. Like
Well, if you
that's
ever
a
do an album rundown podcast, mate,
yeah,
get me
that's
on
what
and
I'll do
we'll
when I
just chat.
retire, and we'll just sit and do every single album they've ever done. But I love their last album as well. Everyone was kind of just like it just seemed to wash over people's heads, and I was
It's
like,
class. Probably like it was just timing when it because I think it was obviously out of when did it come out? Was it just after
it's
COVID?
just after COVID.
Yeah,
So
so it's one a lot of people's albums sort of went, didn't they? When that, but they meant to do
I
the
did find
West.
out the other day as well, which is really good, is that I interviewed Manchester Orchestra in
Oh, cool,
Manchester,
nice.
and the singer said to me, "Oh yeah, Dustin's new solo album's brilliant." I was like, "What?" And he was like,
Oh,
"Oh, sorry," and I was like, "Oh, new solo album." He's like, "It's amazing," and I was like,
oh,
"Okay,
really?
now I'm excited."
Cool. There you go then.
Just don't tell
Little
anyone
nugget
about
there.
that.
Yeah, don't tell anyone. Oh, you're listening.
Dude,
Shh.
it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on.
Thank you so
I think
much.
our paths will cross a few times. I can't. We must have been in the room probably 100 times together,
I know.
and just walked past you or knocked a beer into you or something.
Yeah,
But
man. Really nice to meet
let's
you.
meet up for the Blackout in Birmingham, and
Yeah, dude.
I'll
I'll
grab
be
you a
there. So,
beer, and then I'm sure we'll be at the Fry show. And I mean, I'm intrigued what shows you might be announcing as a support. So
yeah, cool, man. Well, I can let you know off air if you want.
yes, I will say thank you now, and then stop recording, and then you can let me know.
Sick. All right, nice one,
Awesome,
dude.
dude. Thank you
Cheers,
so
man. Thank you so
much.
much. No, honestly, thank you for having me, man. It's awesome.
It's
Thank
a
you.
pleasure.
Wicked, man.
So there it is. There's my interview with me and Mikey. What a great guy. So humble, so nice, so honest. I just love the guy. Genuinely, I could talk to him for hours. It was an absolute pleasure to have him on the podcast. I hope he comes back in the near future. I can't wait to see the band live at 2000 Trees this summer. My God, they're just so good. And did you hear his choice for the final song today? Instantly, I love you for that. Thrice, you know how much they mean to me. My God, anyone comes on his podcast and wants to talk about Thrice, you're always welcome. If you're listening to this and you haven't checked out the band, go on Spotify, go on Bandcamp, go wherever you listen to your bands and check them out. Go on their website and buy some merch. This is the way you support bands nowadays and help them go out there and hopefully record an album in the near future. Support these bands, they need it, and honestly, they're going to be huge. So get on it now, and then you can be that cool fan that says, I was there at the start. I want to say a massive thanks now to everyone that's listened. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed today's episode, as always, go on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram and hit that share button. It makes a massive difference and helps the algorithm of this podcast and more people discover it. And if you want to go that extra mile, why not jump on the Patreon page? There's a link on markandme.com. For as little as £2 a month, you're guaranteed at least 2 episodes a week, a bonus episode called The Lost Tapes, a welcome pack which includes stickers and badges, a newsletter each and every month, and so much more. It's my way of keeping the podcast going, and that little £2 goes right into the Mark and Me fund and allows me to go out there and record more episodes for you guys at home. Right, before I go, I want to tell you one more time, go and listen to Fangs Out. Look after yourself, and I'll be back in a couple of days with a brand new episode. So I'll speak to you all then.
Song of your breath stirs the dark, your skin like a rose neath my hand.